So Liberty, we met at Legal Services and at the Family Law Task Force, and you two were in law school together, and we saw all the people looking at and working on the issues of family law. But as we all were new to the family court, we also saw that there were a lot of gaps.
Yeah, I think we all really came together around this shared perception that while there were different entities addressing different pieces of the family law puzzle, no one was really looking at the experience of the user and the litigants and how they were experiencing family court without any support or information, and how terrifying that was for the people trying to access justice.
And I think we saw that too as young lawyers in family court. It was a very complicated, complex place to get around, and we too weren't even sure exactly what we were doing. So we could see ourselves, or we could see the litigants through our own eyes. But I think we were also really motivated by a sense of social justice and equity, and I think we just together couldn't really believe that there was so little there to help litigants, and so we really felt a real mission to kind of come in and guide folks literally and with information.
Right. And I know I came in with that child protective focus, and I was all about thinking about that and ACS and the courts. And I think through my fellowship, it really expanded my eyes to see the level of the lack of access that so many other areas of the practice had that really have become a real big focus of LIFT. But it was amazing. I just didn't know how people were actually functioning and trying to get things done or have a court even hear them without the supports that we know are so necessary.
Right, you and I both, our fellowships focused on child protection, and then all these other people would ask us questions, and we had nowhere to point them to, and there were no resources for them. And also at that time, there was just a lot of discussion in the media and really negative portrayals of young people in juvenile justice cases. There had been some deaths of young children, and the environment was incredibly painful, stressful. There was a lot of racially charged rhetoric being used that was incredibly negative, and I think all of us experienced that and felt the need to shift the conversation.
Yep, and I mean, so much of the need still exists, but the conversation has really shifted. Now, there's much more talk about parent representation, about the voice of parents, even the voice of youth, in terms of creating policy and practice. And so I think LIFT was a big part of that.
Right. So we started out at the little table at family court, and now we have a seat at the table. We're with judges, clerks, and other stakeholders, really trying to help people get the access that is so needed for their families.